another edition of Pro Cuts, where we get together with some professional ball players and learn how they became professional ball players. And today, I'm excited. We're talking to Jesus Luzardo from the Oakland A's and a third-round pick in 2016. How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
I am living in quarantine. What are you doing right now during quarantine time to stay fresh?
Trying to get out there and throw, stay in shape as much as possible while still being safe. And other than working out and throwing, staying at home watching Netflix, playing video games.
What's the Netflix series you've been all over?
I was on Ozarks for a while. Right now I'm starting Waco.
Waco, yeah. We just watched that one too. What video games are you on?
Big Call of Duty fan. Big Call of Duty Warzone. Yeah.
That gives me like epilepsy, bro. I can't stick with it.
I play just an unbelievable amount, like 4 or 5 hours a day.
Oh, this is going to be terrible for kids. We're trying to tell them how to turn into pros, and you're sitting here telling them 4 or 5 hours a day on Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah, during quarantine.
All right. You were drafted in the third round in 2016. But there's a couple things that I find weird about it. One of them is that you're not 6'5", right? 235 pounds. And even more surprising than that is the fact that you didn't even play your senior season because you had Tommy John surgery. What was it about you? Did the Nationals tell you, or do you have any sort of inkling, if that's the right word? I don't think I said that right. But why did they have the confidence to pick up you at that time?
To be honest, I don't know. I guess they saw something in me. My senior year, I think I had like 3 or 4 starts, and my velo actually did jump. So I had good velo, and I always had like that pitch ability growing up. So I guess they always said, he's got good pitch ability. He's not pitcher's body, not big, not tall, not lanky, not projectable, but he could pitch. And then when I got some velo, I guess that kind of helped in their decision.
Did you have, I'm guessing like naturally you probably dealt with some negative thoughts. You're coming off that injury, right? You're picked in the third round. So there's a lot of hype behind you, but you're also like, were you worried about living up to that hype? Like, how do you get over those thoughts?
To me, to be honest, like I didn't even feel the hype because when I went to the Nats, like I was a third rounder, but like, I was hurt, so I was rehabbing the whole time. So like, I just feel like I got, people forgot about me, which, I guess in a way was good for me. And then I just like kind of popped out onto the scene in 2017. So, but I never really had like a problem with like telling myself like, oh, you got to live up to the hype, It's like more like, I want to do well for me and like for my family, but I want to like be someone that they can be proud of. But it's not like, I don't try to please everyone else at the same time.
So looking back on it now, what do you think led to the injury? Was it training? Was it not working out, throwing too much? Like what happened?
Yeah, for me, I think it was more of like, I threw a lot growing up since I was 9. I just always threw a lot. And then in South Florida, the way like the culture is and the way that, baseball is down here. It was year round. It was in fall, especially as a freshman, sophomore, like I was trying to make a team. So it was like, you're in the fall, you're pitching in the fall, as hard as you can. Then you go to the spring, you pitch whatever it is, 70. I think I threw like 70 innings my freshman year, something like that for like 3 years. And then you go to, summer ball and, you try to make a name for yourself. And that's also another, I don't know how many innings, but you could say 20 to 30. So, and it's just nonstop. And you take 2 weeks off and you're back in fall. So it is tough. And like, I don't know, for me, if I could do it all over again, I don't know if I would probably take some more time off and give my arm more of a rest.
I'm always talking about South Florida, and it probably gets annoying to people that are watching on a national level, like, oh, here he goes talking about Florida again and how great and intense baseball is. But like, maybe you can explain it better than I can. Like, it's a totally different animal when it comes to baseball, right?
Yeah, no. Growing up, it was unreal. Just the amount of competition. Like, I was prepared for a different level of competition at such a young age. Like, you go down to Tamiami Park and you're playing dudes that are, the Cuban guys, the Dominican guys, the Venezuelan guys that are 15 and you're 10, and like
or maybe they're 18. We don't know for sure, but
exactly. And I mean, they're just grown men, but like it's just the culture that we, like, you know, and I love that. Like I used to love playing there, and I love like just the culture down here of baseball, and like it's year round. So most places like it's cold, so you don't play year round. Guys play like basketball or football and then go play baseball. Here it's like if you play baseball, you're a baseball player year round.
Right. Yeah. And I know, I know who you played for in high school and who you played for in travel, and I coached with both of them as well. That's how we are connected. And I know neither one you felt like abused you, but you also feel like, hey, you kind of threw too much. So like, then how is that the case?
I think it was just more for me, like a lack of communication on my end, just because I don't think I necessarily needed to throw, you know, like, so I took 1 summer off my freshman year, but like my sophomore year summer, I didn't, and it wasn't anything, cause like summer for me was one of the most fun, like things in the world. Cause you had such a great team. All my friends, like I'm still friends with probably 90% of those guys, and like the coaches, I loved everything about it. But just, I feel like I started so young that, you know, like for me, college was really going to look at me when I was a junior or a senior, instead of, you know, I tried to go out there and get colleges to look at me when I was a sophomore, and I was like 5'5", 215 pounds. Like I had a dumpy body, and it was just not good. Like, I don't know. It was probably on my end that I chose to do that. And then plus, even before high school, I threw a lot, and that was more on me as well. So I think just the years of like wear and tear ended up getting me where I was.
And were you using weighted balls? I know that was a big thing down there, and it was really becoming a big thing when you were coming up through there. Were you using them, and do you think that contributed at all?
Well, yeah, I used them my senior year, and I think just because of the way I was using them, I wasn't like, I knew what I had to do, but I didn't have eyes on me at all times. And when I was doing them, and I just, my mechanics weren't great. My mechanics weren't perfect the way you want to do them. Is as if I were to do them now, I know what mechanics are supposed to look like. My body's bigger, more mature. So I think my body probably wasn't ready for what I was doing. And I mean, it helped me. I gained velo, but at the same time, I blew out. So I don't know, really there's like a little 50-50 on how I feel about those.
Right. Do you think that you threw into outside of high school and outside of travel? Do you think you participated, looking back on it, in too many extra events that probably weren't needed? Showcases or all-star games or anything like that?
I didn't really do all-star games. I did do showcases though. And I feel like back then in the moment, you're a young kid. You're like, I want to make a name for myself. I want to be that guy. I want everyone to think I'm good. But like, now looking back at it, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I would have just stayed home, taken a break. Like the showcases didn't really ever like matter. At least that's my opinion.
Right.
I guess some guys are different. Some guys got to go to get looks, this and that. But for me, I feel like the team I played for in high school, we ended up being national champions. So we always had a lot of looks. And then my summer ball team, we were very good always. So, we could always get looks in games. So for me, I feel like the showcases were a little much.
Right. Talk about that real quick. Like, what was your experience like at Stoneman Douglas High School? Unfortunately, right now on a national level, Douglas is known for the school shooting. They don't realize though how great of a baseball program it is. And then playing for Richie at Elite Squad. I mean, that's awesome. Those are two of the best programs you could possibly play for. Like, what was your experience like?
I mean, if it wasn't for playing in Elite Squad and then for Douglas, I'm 100% not where I am right now. The level of competition that we played, and the way like Coach Fitz and Richie, the way they pushed us to be like men, and the way they pushed us to be accountable. And, they didn't treat you like a little kid. I was 14 and I was thrown in there with dogs when the guys were seniors. And so, I mean, especially like my freshman and sophomore year, I really learned how to like mature, how to be a man. And then junior, senior year, we had a lot of fun because we were so good at Douglas. And just the camaraderie that we had, and the way that Fitz ran that team, we were just a bunch of grinders that, we had fun together. And then, I mean, playing for Elite Squad, it was it was kind of dumb just because we were so good. Like we had,
Yeah, it was a
I think
stupid
it was like 18 Division I commits. We had like 5 University of Miami, 5 University of Florida, like 7 FAU. So it was, I mean, a lot of talent, and a lot of those
And
guys.
that wasn't a team that was flying kids in either from all over the place. It was a
Oh,
local team.
And all those kids, all 18 of those Division I commits, I grew up playing with or against since I was like 7 years old. So
Right.
I mean, the level of talent down here makes you like a different breed, I guess you could say.
What should a high school kid be looking for in a coach or be ready to deal with? Like, there's so much complaining these days
Yeah.
about coaches and, oh, they're too tough or this or that. Like, what do you think they really need to get out of a coach at that level?
I mean, luckily I only had the experience of like one high school coach, but I could tell you I've seen other ones, and I even go back to, like, I give Fitz a hard time. I go back to Douglas in the offseason. I'm like, oh, coach, you got soft. Because, now
He did get soft.
Nowadays you see, like, kids complaining and, like, the parents, and I mean, that's fine. I understand, like, everyone can get raised the way they want to get raised, but the way he ran it when I was there and, like, what we were prepared is, it's, I mean, we think of it as tough love. Like, he's going to get on you. He's going to push you, go run time triangles and, like, until you're dead, basically. And, like, in the moment you're like, oh, this is abuse, like, this is terrible. But in reality, like, it pushes you to be better. And then, like, oh, if you're late, like, go run all practice. Like, okay, but I'm going to be accountable. I'm not going to be late anymore. Now I'm on time every time. So, like, stuff like that some, like, some people view it as bad, but I viewed it, and a lot of us viewed it as, like, he's pushing us to be better. Like, you got to be able to take some tough love, like, gonna yell at you or, get on you if you do something wrong or, you mess up. But at the end of the day, like, that's what makes you better.
Definitely an awesome experience for you. And just to kind of wrap up some of that injury stuff real quick, because it's such a big deal today, keeping kids healthy, and it's really your generation where things start to get crazy with the workouts and all the opportunities to throw and overthrowing. If you were a high school coach, what would kind of the weekly schedule look like for your pitchers?
For my pitchers, so, I mean, at least in South Florida, we play 2 games a week. So, you have 2 starters a week, and then you have relievers. For me, it was just, like, if I was a high school coach, I would kind of run it. I mean, obviously it's different, but I would run it kind of like a pro program. If you're pitching on Monday, you're lifting on Tuesday, you got a bullpen because you're pitching next Monday. So you got a bullpen, let's say Thursday or Friday, you lift in that day as well. And then you're doing conditioning throughout the week. You could do like a long distance run on Tuesday after your start, and you kind of do the same for the other starter. You keep them on that same schedule. And then, obviously your relievers are a little different depending on how you plan on using them weekly, but just the same thing. I wouldn't like kill them with workouts, like work out 5 times a week, but you also can't do no workouts or work out once a week. Like, you do have to train your body. And obviously a 14-year-old isn't going to lift as good as as much as a senior 18-year-old. So there's learning, there's like a learning curve, but I think it is important to take a book, like a page out of the pro book, because they're obviously doing it right. And guys do get hurt, but at the same time, guys have long careers. So
right. I mean, it's kind of a catch-22 here talking to you, right? Because you got hurt, you look back, you're like, damn, I probably would have done something different. But then at the same time, we look at you and we're like, you're 22 years old and you made it. Like, so how bad, how much would you really have changed? It's weird,
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I look back at it, like, now I wouldn't change anything I did, but that's just because, like, that kind of made me, like, that injury made me who I am today.
You're there.
Like,
You made it. You're there. Well,
exactly.
Yeah, it's tough. A lot of kids don't understand the difference between being sore and being hurt, right? So I wrote this question down. Without going to a doctor, how can a young player better understand, like, what's normal and what they should maybe be worried about?
Yeah, I mean, my strategy wasn't too good. Like, if I couldn't brush my teeth, if I couldn't brush my teeth, or if I couldn't put on a shirt without like pain or without like grimacing, I was sore. But there's a lot of people that do go ahead and they'll be like, hey, I'm I'm hurt and they're just a little tight or a little sore. So for me, if it's like, you know, a bad pinch or you feel like deep in there, it's different than, you know, when you have dead arm and it's just like, you know, it feels like someone punched the muscle or something like that. That's the way I would describe it. But definitely for me, I was more of like, I would try to toughen it out, and it wasn't smart because I was like, okay, I can't brush my teeth today. I should probably say something. So it's like, that was a little too much.
And your teeth were all nasty and breath stinking. So,
Yeah. Had to go right-handed for a while.
There you go. So South Florida presents some interesting challenges for you guys growing up as well. It seems like for every good road you could potentially go down, there's 4 bad avenues that you could go down. So navigating that, talk about that for a minute. Like how did you decide, okay, this is a kid I should associate myself with, and this is a kid I should not associate myself with?
Yeah, I feel like in South Florida, it's actually like very prominent. I mean, I know a lot of guys coming through high school that had all the talent in the world, and then they just kind of fell off because they made the wrong decisions. And I mean, I thank my parents for that because they taught me, you know, like the right and the wrong, and you know, they'd give me their inputs. You know, I think this kid's little this and that. And, you know, they're a really good judge of character. But for me, it was more of just like I was always scared of like getting or like upsetting my parents and like, you know, disappointing them. So it was more of like, okay, I know what these kids do, but like what, you know, the saying that goes is you know, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. So it's like if someone wasn't trying to do what I was trying to do, or their plan wasn't, hey, I want to be a big league baseball player. It was more of like, hey, I want to play high school baseball for fun and then like see what happens. Then like sad to say, they just, yeah, I was cool with everyone, but they weren't my group. And my group of friends from high school are still my group of friends now, and that's, you know, the same goal that we all have.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a really good way of putting it. Like if these guys don't have the same goals as me, then they're not, you know, necessarily for me to spend all my time with.
Exactly.
That's good. When's the time you, you know, you did deal with some of that negative peer pressure, and what did you do to get yourself out of it? I mean, were you telling little lies so that you can go other ways, or were you just being yourself? I mean, it doesn't matter. How'd you get around it?
Yeah, no, at the beginning it was, you know, being young, you're like, okay, I gotta say a little lie, like, oh, my mom's gotta get me here and that, like, or a curfew. But towards the end, like towards my senior year, I would just be honest. I'd be like, look, man, I'm not interested. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's not for me, but you go ahead if you want. And that was basically it. Like, no one's gonna get hurt or whatever. Like, people can get mad all you want. You'd be like, look, like, that's not for me. Like, if you want to go ahead and do that, do it. But I'm not about that. And that's, you know, that's the way I did it, and a lot of my friends did it. And thankfully, you know, I would like to think that we turned out okay.
Yeah, so far so good. You got a long way to go.
Yeah.
But I think that's good for kids to hear, like especially the young guys. Like, dude, it's just part of it. Like, yeah, make up something. Mom's got to pick me up. I got to go here just to get yourself out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
He's about to throw his first big league pitch, and here it is. And it's a strike right at the knee.
Pro experience has given you a whole nother level of knowledge now, right? Where are young players missing the boat when it comes to development part of it? Like, I know we talked about, hey, maybe don't throw as much, but what should they maybe be doing more than they are?
Getting in the weight room, but in a smart way. Like, don't go and bench 325. Like, that's not what you want. I mean, you see guys like Aroldis Chapman doing it, and Aroldis Chapman is just a superhuman person that throws 105, but like, it doesn't work for everyone. So, you know, find what's right for you. Find someone who knows what they're talking about, knows what they're doing, and, you know, go with them. I started at a young age of working out, and I still go there. I started my sophomore year up in Jupiter Crescent Sports Performance, and I still go there now because, you know, they treated me right, and it's all about like going up slowly. So I was 14. I'm obviously not doing the lifts that I was doing now. So, have to say, you know, get in there and develop your body, but you're still growing, so you have to be smart.
What about working out during the spring season?
I think it's actually very important. I think that, you know, if you just pitch or whatever it is, if you're a position player, if you just like just kind of try to grind through it and do a little conditioning that the team has. And you're not pushing yourself, you're not getting better. You can end up getting hurt. So I think working out, that's something I've learned now because I'm in pro ball. Working out in season, it might be just as important or more important than working on off season.
What about the diet? Because that's one of the hard things to do, right? You're a kid, you're burning calories. Like, you don't ever necessarily realize we could eat McDonald's 5 times a week and look fine, right? Were you paying attention to your diet at all?
My freshman and sophomore year, a lot of people can tell you I was not. I was just not. I was a bad body. I was tiny, and it wasn't even like my parents would always push me to eat at home cooked meals, this and that. But you're a kid, you want to go eat with your friends. Like that's just the normal thing you do. My junior and senior year, I started paying attention. I was like, look, I'm real. I'm taking this seriously. I want to go to college for ball. I want to get drafted, this and that. And I noticed more with the workout. So I started working out and started eating even if it wasn't great, but I'm lucky that my mom was a good cook and she cooked at home every day. So anything just home cooked, and once I started paying attention to my diet, I saw my game take off.
Were you packing snacks to eat all day through the day? Because I know some people will say you should never get hungry, right? You should never get full and you should never get hungry. You should always kind of be right in the middle. I personally don't know, and I don't care. I have no reason to. Were you eating snacks throughout the day at school?
My senior year, I always packed a lunch. I never really bought a lunch. And then I would pack little snacks here and there, and I would have snacks. So I would always take a little bag and had everything I needed in it, whether it was a little bit of snacks and a lunch. I wasn't huge on, because I wasn't trying to put on weight. There's guys that drink 4 protein shakes a day to put on weight. I wasn't one of those guys, but I would have, I would never be hungry at school.
Fastball velo is what they're all chasing at that age, and it's just a result of the culture, right? And what they're made to believe is important. How important is fastball velo? I mean, we get that it's important. We get that it's a benchmark being used, but again, what other part of pitching are kids missing out on? Mechanically, pitchability. So explain pitchability for us. When a guy says, "Hey, he's got great pitchability," what does that mean?
Great pitchability, to me at least, is he could throw a changeup 3-0, and then he could throw a 3-1, and then he could throw a 3-2. You could throw all your pitches for strikes in any count. You feel confident in all your pitches. That's pitchability. You could read a hitter. So a guy's late on a fastball, you're not going to throw him a changeup because he's going to catch up. You're going to throw him another fastball in. Stuff like that. That's pitchability to me. And just the way of reading hitters, the way that you throw your stuff, how confident you are in your stuff. That's what helped me because I had that. I had, confidence in my stuff before I got my velo. So once I got my velo, it was just kind of a plus.
It is just about velo, right? Let me try to get to 90, and then I'll figure everything out after that.
Exactly. You see a lot of guys in the big leagues. You see a lot of guys, 88, 89 I'm not saying you have to throw that, but it gets the job done. If you could use Mero Petit. He's a guy I look up to with the A's, and he's taught me a lot in the past year and a half, 2 years since I've been up. He could put it wherever he wants. He does not miss a spot. And he pitched in 81 games last year, and he pitched great. He had a great ERA, and it's because when you could put it where you want and you know how to read a guy, that's all you need. You don't need to blow people away.
And he waved at that slider. Strike 3 call. And he got it.
Wow. Oh, Jesus Luzardo.
So if you can go back to your high school days and maybe alter your development and your plan a little bit more, what would you have done?
Well, see, now I'm a little biased because I'm more into the mechanics and all this stuff. I'm not a big numbers guy, but I'm a big I watch mechanics, this and that. I watch videos at 3 a.m. I would just stay up watching videos, and I would have gone back and changed my arm stroke a little bit. That's very specific, but for me it was, I was very long, and that's kind of what got me in trouble with my shoulder a year ago. So I would go back, and at a young age I would teach myself, look, be a little shorter, not super short, but a little shorter, and that'll help preserve your arm. So I don't know if that would have helped with my elbow, or definitely would have helped with my shoulder in the past. So
Strike 3 called right.
Not have been.
And a good fastball. 98.
Pitch to get him.
And he did it again. And he got him. Got him.
How do you what are the goals now? Like, is part of it's like, oh, I made it, I got drafted. Like, so, how do you stay motivated? How do you set up goals? Like, do you write them down in a planner? Do you just go off your numbers? Like, how do you keep going and staying motivated, hitting benchmarks and, reaching goals?
For me, I don't know. I'm very like self-motivated. So I don't write my goals down. I know a lot of people say that, but I don't write my goals down. Like, I wake up every day and I know what I want. I want to play in the big leagues for a long time, whether it's 10, 15 years. I want to win multiple Cy Youngs. I want to have, World Series champion. I want to do everything. I want to be a rookie of the year. Like, that's stuff that's what motivates me. And that's what's always motivated me. So I just feel like it'll never be good enough for me, to be honest. I could, hopefully one day, if God allows it, I go out and I win a Cy Young. Like, I'll just know, I'll be like, okay, I want another one. It's not like, okay, I won a Cy Young, I'm done. It wasn't like I got drafted, I'm done. Or I made it to the big leagues, I debuted, like, I'm good to stay here. Like, no, like, I want more.
Does it require you to, like, that just seems like a innate, natural, God-given characteristic, right? Like, is everybody you're around at the big league level, is that how they are? I mean, is everybody just blessed with that drive, or do some people have to work at it and build it?
Like, a lot of people don't open up, and normally I don't, but I feel like a lot of guys do. And I mean, you could tell some guys like Chappie. Like, Chappie's a guy that he wants more. He wants more. Like, he wants to be the best ever, and that's someone, I respect that, and that's who I try to be around, because I want to be the best ever. So, like I said, that was when people had that mentality around me. That's who I started hanging out with.
Evaluating yourself nowadays, right? Like, it's got to be great. It's got to be fun. You can immediately get off the hill, go in the clubhouse and start watching video and look at all these crazy analytics and everything, right? How do you evaluate yourself, though, and decide if you did well or if you did bad on any given night?
For me, it's more of, so I hate walks. Walks are my number one pet peeve. If I walked a guy and I went 7 shutty, I still tell myself, why did I walk that guy? But I don't know. It's more of, did I put the team in a position to win? Did I keep us in the game? I don't care about strikeouts. I could give up 10 hits in a game. It doesn't matter to me. Obviously you want to keep the runs down, but it's not so much about numbers for me. It's more of like, did I keep us in the game? Are we winning the game? Stuff like that. I'm not too big on like numbers or, did I go get the win? Like, it's obviously nice to get the win, but like, I don't need the win to tell myself I did a good job. And, if I did get a win and I pitched bad, I'm not going to tell myself I did a good job. So for me, I'm very self-critical, so it's kind of tough.
So for a high school kid now who doesn't have access to technology or the information that you have in your mental database to know if you did good or not, like, how could a high school kid evaluate that, do a nice self-evaluation after a game?
I mean, did you throw your pitches the way you wanted to throw them? Did they come out, did they do what you wanted? Did they run? Did your two-seamer run? Did your curveball, did you throw it for a strike? Did you throw them all for a strike? When you were in a tight spot, when you were second and third with 1 out, did you get out of it? Did you get a ground ball for a double play when there was a guy on first? Stuff like that, little stuff like that. That's like what I look into. Like, when the pressure's on, did I get out of it? Or when the pressure's on, I gave up a 3-run bomb, like stuff like that.
So it's not necessarily about the numbers.
No, for me, it's more of when it comes like crunch time, like, did you bear down and get it done?
Right. It's very possible for all the parents to be saying, hey, great job, Jesus, and you to be saying, no, actually, I threw like shit tonight.
Yeah. It happened to me in spring. I don't know. I think it was like, I threw like 3 and something. I think it was like 3 1/3, and I punched out 7 or 8. And then I told myself, I was like, this was a terrible game. Like, in the beginning, I was like nibbling. I wasn't attacking hitters. I walked like 2 guys, I think. And like, so for me, it's like, my curveball wasn't the way I wanted it to be, even though it worked. So, sometimes it's just, you can feel off and pitch well, I guess you could say, in other people's eyes. But for me, it's like, no, I did not pitch well.
How do you get better from here? What do you got to work on? What do you feel is a weakness in your game? And in order to get to where you want to get, these are some things I'm working on.
To be honest, just consistency, being able to consistently throw all my pitches for a strike. And right now I feel like I do, but and also being able to beat guys on my off days. So like if I don't have my fastball today, like can I get guys out? Can I go 6 with 1 earned? You know, can I do that without a fastball? Can I do it without a changeup? Can I do it without a breaking ball? Like so that's what I need.
You a pitching ninja fan?
Big pitching ninja fan.
Why? What do you like about pitching ninja?
Just the fact that I've picked up a lot of things. Like I picked up, I was like thinking about sometimes messing with the little cutter, and I've just looked on so many like Mariano's cutter, and then all the videos that they put, and like arm action on cutters, this and that. So that's something that I like, and also just watching guys dice up people is a lot of fun for me. Like when he puts up videos of DeGrom or Cole or something like that, like I think that's awesome.
So does it feel like a notch in the belt if you make pitching ninja?
Yeah, I think everyone when you get put on pitching ninja, you're like, okay, that was pretty cool. Like I was nasty today.
Do you like throw and then go see if you knew you had a good game and then update and see if you're on pitching ninja that day?
I don't, but I usually like my parents will send it to me like, oh look, you made pitching ninja today, so it's like it's pretty cool.
That's great, man. That is good stuff. Jesus Luzardo, man, we're all excited about you and what you know. This was the first time we've been around the same people in the same programs, but I've never gotten to talk to you, man. And I can see why you are where you are and why everybody in our community has said the things that they said about you. Really impressive young man, and keep it going, dude. Make the 954 proud, dude.
Thank you. That's the plan. I hope so.
Yeah, keep it rolling, man. Good luck. We'll talk to you soon, and I think I'm probably gonna have to hit you up to keep helping these young guys learn. This is good stuff that they don't get to hear much.
Definitely. I'll be on board.